Am I surprised this is happening? No. Do I care this is happening? No. I think it's actually quite hilarious that this thing is happening. But if you actually have one of these cards, or just any cards now in Pokemon, specifically in the Scarlet and Violet era, I would be paying attention to some of the prices of your cards because buyouts are happening. I think everybody is aware of it. And this post just shows that it is actually happening, and people are in Discord groups. There's probably people in just maybe some other apps having these groups where they're just coordinating these buyouts. And I've told you guys this before, like, this stuff is not surprising it's happening, and especially with singles. I've explained before why I don't really invest into singles. One reason is obviously for me selling. Like, I don't want to buy large amounts of one copy of a card and just have to sell that many of just one card. And how I sell things, it wouldn't really be that easy. And also, just generally, the reason why I don't really buy singles and invest into them is because they're very volatile and they're much more susceptible to being manipulated with, which is literally what you see here. There's this Discord group. I don't know what Discord it is, but the I guess chat or whatever the thing's called is named New Boost. And it's funny because it's named New Boost because they're trying to boost the price. I think it's kind of a funny thing, but it looks like here they are trying to boost up the Blood Moon Ursaluna EX from I think this is Prismatic Evolutions. So yeah, and you can see here the starting value. I guess whenever this was made, it was $60. Aiming value is $80. Keep buying copies on Card Market or TCG Player to boost the value. Hold the cards until $80 to make sure the market doesn't crash. I think this is hilarious. I don't know if this stuff actually does work with these groups. Like, I'll show you here. It looks like, I don't know, it really hasn't, no bots has really happened. Like, I mean, nothing crazy has happened. I don't know when this post was made or when this person in this Discord group actually made this, I guess, post, but nothing has happened yet. So I don't know if it's going to happen, but it has been going up. But I haven't been seeing any buyouts or anything, so maybe it's not working. Maybe this Discord is kind of small. I don't know. But this is just an indicator of sort of where we're at in this market and just how things are. So at this point, I know there's a lot of people because sealed is all expensive. I know there's a lot of people doing the singles thing right now. And here's what I have to say: if you're investing in singles, you got to be careful because you got to make sure you're not buying, into a card that's already been pumped. Because there's so many cards that have been bought out and have like literally doubled, tripled, or quadrupled in price in like a week. And you don't want to, just buy a card and not actually know that it's been bought out already, because it's possible some of these cards that have been bought out already and have like tripled, quadrupled in price, it's possible they may just all of a sudden just dip because a large amount of people dump. And if there are groups like this coordinating on this whole thing, it's just a pump and dump. This is really like, it reminds me of the GameStop, pump and dump thing that people were doing, not too long ago, with just everybody coordinating in these, subreddits to, buy into the stock and then sell it off. It's hilarious to me. And I don't really care about it too much because, like I said, it doesn't really affect me. I don't invest into singles, so I could care less what really happens to all these cards. But definitely, if you're one of those people that do actually, invest in the singles, I know a lot of people are doing that right now. You gotta be a little bit careful because things could really crash depending on how much things get pumped up, and if all the people decide to sell one day and or whatever and flood the market, things could tank. But with this volatility though in the singles market, you can also make a lot of money. Whenever there's a lot of volatility, you can lose a lot of money, but you can also make a lot of money. So it is very possible, if you're one of those people investing in singles, you might buy some copies of a single that right now isn't doing much, but maybe in a week from now, it just gets pumped up. Literally, it's random. It seems like just any card seems like also a lot of the cheaper cards, like the cheaper illustration rares, it's happening more to. Like, I think the Wug Trio from, I think Paldean Fates has also sort of been bought out. It was like 70 cents. Now it's like over $1. It's like $1.50 or $2 or something like that. So, that stuff can happen. So if you want to just, at this point, it's like gambling, right? You could just pick a random card and all of a sudden it'll just get pumped up. I mean, look at the Drowsy from Scarlet and Violet base, right? It's like any card could happen too. So if you want to play that game in this market, you could go for it. I'm not saying it's going to work out, but it is, I mean, honestly, with how things are going with this market and all these, just buyouts that are happening, because it's happening to a ton of cards, you might get very lucky and you might hit it big. But I'm not trying to, I guess, I don't know, I guess, give advice and try to tell you guys to do that because I'm not doing it myself. And I think you're playing, a little bit more risky doing it that way because literally this is pretty much a pump and dump with some of these cards. So I'd be sort of careful doing it. But if you want to maybe allocate maybe a few $100 or whatever you have, whatever budget you have, to just have a little bit of fun and try to hit, one of these pumps, I mean, you can go for it because it looks like, more often than not, it's happening to everything, like just randomly. So if you want to try and do it, you can. Am I doing it? No, because I'm just buying sealed. That's just what I'm doing. But you can have fun trying to do this singles thing. But yeah, this whole, pump and dump thing and people coordinating these buyouts. I mean, I already knew it was happening, but here's this evidence, I guess, on this subreddit, the Pokemon TCG subreddit. They said this is just sad. I mean, I guess it's sad if, I don't know, you're trying to buy it and then it gets pumped up. I don't know. Let's read some of the comments. Lamau got Discords pumping cards like meme coins. That's crazy work. Honestly, you didn't think this was happening. Like, I already knew this was happening. This is just like a post that I guess made me think about making a video about this. These losers would rather waste their time boosting cardboard pixels, making $40 a day than get an actual job. I don't know. It's kind of weird. People always assume scalpers and people like this don't have jobs. How hard is it to make a post and say to buy out a card online? It's not that difficult. Buying at $60 and selling at $80 doesn't even net much of a profit after paying seller's fees. That's very true. The seller's fees, I believe, is like, I know for eBay it's like 13.25%. TCG player, I'm not exactly sure how that works, but I'm pretty sure it's somewhat similar. So if you do the math on everything, yeah, it's not really worth it. You could honestly make more money off of sealed right now in terms of percentages. If I don't know, this is not really a good starting and aiming price because you're only getting a 33%. You do the math on the, let's just say for eBay, for example, like 13.25%, you have to ship and stuff. Is it worth all the time to try to do this? Probably not. But yeah, it's kind of funny that they are trying to, I guess, pump it up only $20. I don't know what's more sad, the fact that people do this or the fact that they breed and teach their offspring to do the same. My LGS just tried to sell me this card for 120 last night, so the 8090 is already there according to eBay sold listings. This should be illegal. It's Pokemon cards. I don't know how this is going to be illegal. It's just how it is. It's just the market. I mean, you can do the same thing with stocks. I mean, that's not even illegal. What makes you think this is illegal with Pokemon cards? I feel so bad that people try to actually make money like this. Notify the Pokemon SEC. Anyone doing this is bad or worse as a scalper. I just think this whole thing's hilarious. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I could care less. You guys know my standpoint on a lot of this stuff. A lot of these morals with Pokemon now, with scalping, MSRP. To me, I mean, we can play this moral game all we want. We can try to act wholesome and be the good guy in this. To me, it's like, I don't care. It's like, this stuff does not affect me. And if you're mad about it, I mean, just honestly, my best advice, if you're really mad about this whole Pokemon thing, you got to get off the internet, man. It is really not worth it. I find what is happening in this market right now with all this drama, I sort of like it because there's a lot to talk about. 6 months ago when I was making videos, it wasn't that crazy. There wasn't anything really that much going on. It was kind of just a steady market slowly going up, and things are predictable and kind of just the environment it gets kind of bland. So especially for me, making videos and stuff, I like this stuff happening because it's something to talk about, and I find it very entertaining to watch happen. And I do enjoy being a part of this whole, Pokemon thing right now in this market because it's just something to, make videos about and something to just, I guess, be entertained by because if nothing was happening, think about it. 6 months ago, all this drama, there was nothing happening, right? It was kind of boring. But now we have stuff like this happening, and I find it to be entertaining. And I know this is bad for the wholesome collectors that want, everything cheap and whatever. I understand that perspective. But for me, obviously, I mean, look at me. I'm the investor, scalper guy. I mean, that's who I am. And so you guys kind of know my stance on all these things with people's morals and getting mad and upset. For me, I could care less what happens. Honestly, we should, if anything, I would like this whole pump and dump thing to probably, come to the sealed side because If they pump up my stuff, I can sell at the highs and then make a big profit. But probably not going to happen. Singles, it's just more susceptible to do it because it's a lot easier to do it than sealed stuff. Because sealed, for the most part, most of the stuff is pretty expensive now. I don't know, it's a little bit harder. Sealed usually doesn't get manipulated. It's mainly just cards that do. But I will say, just summary of this video. If you're going to do this whole singles investing thing right now, I'd be careful with this market. Pay attention. If you guys have any cards just in your collection or whatever, I'd probably just search up the value because it's very possible some of them have maybe like doubled in value. So I would do that. But I would just be careful if you're going to buy singles because I'm not doing it because I know how volatile it is. And honestly, I just rather spend my money on sealed because it's more guaranteed in this market, in my opinion, because those are not really getting pumped and dumped like these are. So yeah, that's all I have to say about this. Let me know down in the comments what you think about this whole pump and dump thing. Do you care or do you not? Because for me, I could care less. You guys can pump and dump everything you want. It won't affect me. So yeah, that's the end of this video. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one.